Welcome along to Shootout, again with the all-new Nissan Rogue, redesigned, redefined, where we debate soccer's hot topics with the one and only Greg Brady in Toronto. So quite simply, the question is this: who is going to win the UEFA Champions League? It is the million-dollar question. I would suggest it's more open than perhaps a few seasons ago, Greg.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's a definitive favorite. There's obviously not a juggernaut sitting there. I think Real Madrid started to class themselves as that when they won 3 straight, but it's awfully hard to repeat. I know that. And so much of it, and we'll get into this, is about who you end up drawing after the round of 16. We've had mouth-watering quarterfinals before, semifinals, where you're like, are they the 2 best teams? Are they 2 of the 3 best teams? But I do think we can have a repeat champion this year, and there's a lot of reasons why. So I'm going with the German side, Bayern Munich. What do you say?
Ready for Alphonso Davies to come right back in and get another gong. Of course you are. Listen, it's very difficult to disagree with that. The only way I'm going to go against Bayern, which doesn't sit comfortably with me, as you know, is because it is so hard to retain it. It really is. They are such a good team. But to maintain those levels, and obviously we're seeing it in the Premier League with Liverpool this season. I know they've had injuries, but just those relentless physical and mental demands, because again, they're clear in the Bundesliga. We know that, and Dortmund aren't putting up much of a fight, which many of us thought they would. So they have got it going for them, Bayern. I wouldn't rule it out, but because it's so hard to retain it, I'm going to stick my neck out. Surely he's got to do it sooner or later. I'm going with City, purely because the law of averages, Pep Guardiola hasn't got a Champions League final under his belt since those magical, memorable Barcelona days. He's got to do it with this group of players this season. Surely, the way they've clicked into gear, the consistency, 14 wins in a row. So I think the experience, Greg, that Manchester City have picked up, and indeed the heartache, none more so than last season to Lyon, that was a real shock. It was a real downer for Manchester City. That I think they've got the bit between the teeth. I wouldn't rule out, I'm not going to suggest they do it, I wouldn't rule out them winning all 4. Do you know that? We know we've done the domestic treble before, which is an unbelievable feat. They're in the final of one competition. They got Swansea away, which isn't easy in the FA Cup. They've got a buffer in the Premier League. They've got a good draw straight away with Mönchengladbach in the Champions League. Then they're into the last 8. I wouldn't rule it out, Greg. I wouldn't rule it out. All 4 to Pep Guardiola's Manchester City.
The title is clearly theirs to lose now, and it's difficult to see how they would. The math just doesn't work against them. So they, like Bayern Munich, among all the leagues we talk about, they look set and can sort of diversify, if you will. So I look at Germany, and I think Bayern Munich's running away with the Bundesliga title. So that speaks to their excellence. There won't be a lot of stressful league fixtures. And there's a few other Champions League contenders that are going to have to face that balancing act. Right now, for Bayern Munich, unlike Man City, who want a healthy De Bruyne back, who want Aguero to give some contribution this year, he's going to have to fight his way back into the lineup. That's how well City are playing right now. We've talked about all their assets. Manuel Neuer, steady as it gets in net. He's always in the best keeper in the world debate. We talked about that end of the calendar year with him and Alisson. And yeah, how can I not mention Canada's own, Alberta's own, Edmonton's own, Alphonso Davies? Kind of steady and spectacular this year, Steve. It feels like he's had a quieter season. But this time of year, when he went to Stamford Bridge last year at this time, that's where the noise started. Is he the best left back, not just in the Bundesliga, not just among North American-born players, but is he the best left back on the planet? Again, quieter year, but that's what you do at Bayern Munich. You sort of just fit in sometimes. And I can't stop before throwing it back to you without mentioning how consistent Muller and Lewandowski have been. Age is just a number to them, both of them in their early 30s. 0 complaints about form. But again, the draw always factors in. And let's see if they can get by these early fixtures. They got to beat Lazio, obviously, starting in a couple weeks' time. But I think it's Bayern's title to lose. They're the champions for a reason.
Wouldn't it be great if the draw in this particular season kept them apart? I'd love to see Pep Guardiola in the final against his former club, who he couldn't get to a Champions League final, and see what the story would be then. But as I say, I can't disagree with any of that, Greg. Bayern are there. They've got the experience and they've got the know-how, which I think is important as well. But like I say, it's so difficult to retain it. And surely a man of Pep Guardiola's coaching ability, It'll be eating away at him, particularly last season. I know a couple of semi-final defeats at Bayern did as well. This competition was why he was brought in. You're right, the expectation from the fans, but let me tell you, the expectation from the owner and the board is even greater. They want Manchester City on that global stage, and the only way from footballing terms that they're going to do that is by winning the Champions League, or at the very least competing in a final. We know Pellegrini got into the semi-final. Apart from that, it has been very difficult for Manchester City to edge onto the Champions League top table and start dining with the finest. And this season, you have to say, it's a magnificent opportunity for them. And Pep Guardiola is going to have to draw on all that experience, all that know-how, all the momentum his team have got at the moment, and try and get them there.